Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very disgusting and very much alive. If you're new here, welcome. I am a disgusting garbage of a human being and I have an awful fucking mouth. So if you're not into any of that shit, this is probably not the best place for you. So feel free to X out the video here. No harm, no foul. I'll pretend this never happened, but I'll remember our time fondly. And if you want to jump straight to the overall review and the swatches and all that good shit, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead and watch whatever this truck stop waitress shit that I'm serving you. I was trying to think, what could we talk about today? And I wanted to share the stories about the ghosts that live in my house. I have ghosts. Yes, plural. But for this video, I'm going to talk about the shadow guy. The shadow guy has been in my house since forever, I guess, and I never really noticed him until I was about 12 or so. Now, if you're new here, I live in a two-family house. I used to live upstairs with my mom and my brother, and downstairs my grandparents resided. Unfortunately, my grandparents have since passed on, and now I occupy their apartment, and I have been for many, many years now. So when I was about 11 or 12 or so, one time around Christmas, I remember our TV went out. Like, something was wrong with the cable. And this was before flat screens and all this new fancy shit. It was old school. You had a giant brick-ass TV that weighed 1,000 pounds, had like buttons and shit on the TV. It was archaic. That's how old these TVs were. Like I said, one Christmas, the TV and the cable went out, and my mom asked me to kind of fiddle around behind it. I don't know, I guess she thought I was a cable repairman, but whatever, I digress. So I remember my mom went to the bathroom and I was in the back of the TV kind of just like fiddling around with cords when I heard a noise. I got up from behind the TV and I looked over and I saw my brother kind of pass through the kitchen really fast. So I called out for his name, didn't hear anything, walked into the kitchen, called his name again. My mom was like, "What happened? What do you need?" Mind you, she was in the bathroom just screaming at me. And I said, "Oh, I'm looking for my brother." She's like, "He's not home yet." I said, "No, I just saw him." She went, "No, he's not home yet. He's gonna be home in an hour." I lost my shit. I started freaking out because I didn't know what I saw. My mom initially thought it was like a fucking home invasion. And when we realized that nobody was in the house, my mom was like, it's your imagination, whatever, you're tired, blah, blah, blah. Ever since that moment, I felt like I became more aware of my surroundings. I really thought, well, we're not alone. Like, there are dead people and they fucking walk around the house. The more I think about it, I realize I didn't necessarily really see my brother that day. I just saw a black shadow. I assumed it was my brother, one, because my brother's the opposite of me. He's tall and he's thin. This was tall and thin, and it looked like it was wearing black clothes. My brother always wore black clothes. It kind of just made sense. So after that moment, I started, like I said, I kind of became more aware of things. I would hear things kind of slam down. Things would fall off the shelf. Things would go missing and then magically appear somewhere else. I felt like someone would be sitting at the edge of my bed at some nights. Like, this is all going on when I was a kid. I would tell my mom, and my mom, of course, said to me that, you have an active imagination. Yeah, I don't know, you need to stop watching those scary movies. Nothing's going on. There's no such thing as ghosts. Whatever, it's fine. Mind you, as an adult, she later told me she was terrified as well because similar shit was happening to her, but I gotta give it to my mom. She put on a brave fucking face and pretended like nothing was going on. Meanwhile, all that shit was also happening to her. What scared me sometimes was I'd be home alone and I'd hear my name be called out. And my nickname is T, so I would hear someone say T. It always freaked me the fuck out, but it was never malicious. I never thought it was trying to hurt me or try to kill me or anything like that. Shadow guy just wanted to be known. He just wanted to let you know that he was there and he was gonna hang out. And it is what it is. He's not leaving. So long story short, many years later, I now reside in the bottom apartment since my grandparents passed on. And then Alex moved in, I want to say like around 2012 or so. So he's been here for a very long time. And I never really told him about anything in this house. I don't know, because it's kind of interesting. Like, the shadow guy, ever since I moved downstairs, like, he never really came down here. It wasn't until a couple years that Alex lived here, I kind of started noticing things. Like, I would be in my living room, and where my living room is, adjacent to that is like a hallway, and there's a bathroom and then my bedroom. In my living room, I actually have a door to my living room, I have a door to my bedroom, a door to the bathroom, obviously. And so I always have my living room door closed when I'm in the living room. In other words, I'm just like in a room, can't really see on the way out. I don't know, Queen's houses are fucking weird, but whatever. In any case, I'm sitting in the living room. Alex left for work, and I heard the kitchen door open, heard the kitchen door close. I hear footsteps walking. I hear someone standing outside the door, the living room door. I hear the bathroom door open. A couple seconds later, I hear the bathroom door close. So I, of course, open up my living room door. I step out. The bathroom door was not closed, and there was nobody in the fucking kitchen. It was that moment I realized, oh, fuck, this thing is now down here. It's like, oh no. And I didn't say anything. And then Alex kind of started bringing it up a little bit, and he would say like, yeah, you know, it's weird. Like I would hear things close, things opening and stuff like that. And we kind of started talking about it more. And then he kind of started admitting to me that he saw the shadow guy. But however, when he sees the shadow guy, it would either one, go into the basement, which I guess he's like the Babadook and lives down there, or it would just go into the bathroom. So my ghost is either the Babadook or has IBS. I don't know. But it's kind of funny because it'll happen for a long time. Like you'll just hear things constantly like opening, closing, slamming. Things will go missing. You don't know where they are. And then it'll stop. And then for like a good fucking 9 months, nothing happens. And then it'll just start up again. It's kind of almost like the ghost goes on vacation and then comes back and it's like, I was so bored. Ah, glad to be home. And then just starts opening up fucking refrigerator doors and closing them and doing whatever other shit it does. Now, I had 2 friends also experience the same thing while they were in my house. One time, I remember it was very late at night. It was me, Alex, and our one friend, and we were sitting in the living room just talking, laughing, whatever. And you know, as soon as like say something's really funny and you're like just ending your laugh and you're like, and it's that quiet, like that, like 30 seconds of quiet before somebody else speaks. In that moment, we heard the refrigerator door open and close. Mind you, we never told our friend about the ghost or anything like that. And my friend lost her shit. She just lost her shit and she was like, no, this is all creepy. I gotta get the fuck out of here. And she left. She actually left. I had another friend, my best friend Michael, stay with us for 1 week because of like the big hurricane and all that stuff down south. And we went to RuPaul's Drag Con. But I remember one night coming home from work, Michael said so casually like, yeah, I saw the shadow guy. He was going into the basement. You saw it? And he's like, oh yeah. At first I thought it was somebody else, and then I realized there was nobody else in the house. And yep, it went down to the basement. And I remember just being like, oh my God, this thing is like brazen. It shows itself to other people that don't live here. So it's like kind of cool, but also kind of terrifying at the same time. But lately, it's been coming out more in the daytime, which is actually really funny. I work from home on Mondays, for example, and I'll be in my living room, just, you know, whatever, doing work emails or whatever. You just hear someone walking and you hear like doors closing and opening, and it sounds like someone's standing right outside the door, but they never come in. And I think that's the most scariest part because this is at like fucking 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm like, great, I want to go make myself breakfast, but I guess I'm not. Guess I'm gonna fucking stay in this room all day. But like I said before, it's not a malicious ghost. It's just, I'm good. I don't really want to see him at all. But lately though, which is kind of weird, is that my mom has a cat and sometimes she kind of like comes down to our apartment and just hangs out or whatever. And at first, we didn't know why she was always like kind of connected to this one corner. And of course, it's the hallway with the bathroom and my living room and my bedroom. And she'll sit and stare in the top corner of like the room and just hiss. Yep, she does that for at least a good 10 minutes. So as of today, I haven't seen him. I definitely have heard him, but yeah, he's a ghost that sometimes you hear in the background in my videos. Do you have any ghosts that live in your house? So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Friday the 13th No Place to Hide eyeshadow palette. This bad boy retails for a whopping $16.90. However, I think Hot Topics has a huge sale right now, so you could probably get this for cheaper. With that said, the back of the palette says, head on back to Camp Crystal Lake with a killer fashion palette. Arm yourself with this metallic neutrals palette. Be bold with strong metals or keep it casual with rich mattes. Use shadows individually or blend together to contour, highlight, and line eyes. Create a flawless natural eye or apply more shade for darker definition. I really loved the Nightmare on Elm Street palette. And look, I figured it out. They connect magnetically. So if you are a horror fan like me, this is gonna look a fucking killer on your vanity because this is adorable. Freddy vs. Jason, come on. I love the packaging of both of these. They are so fucking cute. First and foremost, Friday the 13th is actually not one of my favorite horror series. I like it, but I find it boring compared to, say, Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. But however, I do love Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, and Friday the 13th number 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, because obviously. With that being said, of course I had to pick up both of them because I'm a horror junkie and I love anything horror. Even if it was a fucking Leprechaun palette, I would have picked it up, okay? That's how much I love horror stuff. So with that said, I had higher expectations because I really liked this palette and I had a very good time using it. So I was kind of hoping for the same experience with this one. I created these two looks. I don't know why. Something was just telling me that this is me. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was listening to a lot of 80s music and it just made sense. And I basically look like a waitress at a Waffle House, but I'm not that mad about it. So for $16.90, what do you get? You open this beautiful little palette up, you get a lovely full-size mirror that actually has Camp Crystal Lake little sign on it, and you get a little blood splatter here. Adorable. And you get these very weird fucking eyeshadow pans that I just don't understand. I don't know why. I think they're stupid, but whatever. I do love the names though. Crystal Lake, Voorhees, Immortal, Summer Camp, Counselor. They Were Warned, and Jason Lives. I thought that was really cute. I think for $16.90, this is really well worth the money packaging wise. On to the quality of the eyeshadows. There is something different from this eyeshadow palette, I feel, than the Nightmare on Elm Street eyeshadow palette, and it's a slight difference. I feel like these are just not as good. And maybe it's because of the color choice. I think when I first looked at it, I was excited because I was like, ooh, look at them greens. And then I kind of looked at it more and I was like, this is kind of, to me, I feel like not really Jason. I wish the Jason palette was more green, blue, brown. Because I feel like that would make more sense. Do you know what I'm saying? And I kind of wish a little bit, although I'm very happy with how this came out, if I could actually swap these out into this palette, you know what I mean? So I feel like this shade and this shade and this shade probably belongs more in this palette than it would in this palette. Does that make sense? Hear me out. Jason drowned in water, that kind of makes sense. That's why the blues, he always has some sort of like green work shirt on and brown pants, right? Freddy has, of course, the classic red, green. I guess that totally makes sense, the red and the green and the brown. But the blues, though, I never understood because I don't really think of blue and Nightmare on Elm Street. I think more rusty, orange, red, blood kind of colors, brown, dirty looking things. So I would say that's like another critique I have about both of these palettes. I think the shadows performed a little bit differently in this palette than it did in the other palette. I literally had no issues with the Nightmare on Elm Street palette at all. It was actually shockingly really good. This was okay. I felt like it wasn't as pigmented as I wanted it to be. I really was trying hard to kind of pack it on, with the exception of that color actually has some pigment to it, but They Were Warned, Jason Lives is literally the fucking color of my skin, so we're not even gonna count that. But They Were Warned and Counselor were very a light wash, and I'm not sure if the camera's really gonna pick it up, but when I'm looking at it here, I don't see it at all. Those were probably the weakest shades. Both greens were fine and the purple was fine. The weirdest shade, however, I would say was Immortal, only because it looked like a metallic. It wasn't a metallic, but it wasn't a matte either. It has a pearlescent kind of a feel to it. It's not pigmented at all with a brush. At all. I found the best application for that was actually my grubby, disgusting fucking finger, which I do not like touching my finger to my eye. Because I have sensitive eyes and, I eat a lot of shit. I don't need cake and corn chips stuck in my eye all day. I found, especially with this side, putting the white over the purple kind of definitely changed the whole look of it. And then when I put the white over here, it looks great as an inner corner highlight. You can see it's not really pigmented. There's actually some bald spots and stuff. With that said, I had no real issues with blending or anything like that. There was a lot of fallout, but that was exactly as expected because I had experienced that with the Nightmare on Elm Street palette, so it was no surprise there. So I think kind of like the more I look at it, the more I'm like, no, this is not, this doesn't speak Friday the 13th to me. And I think I kind of like it less and less. If you had to do like a Sophie's Choice and had to pick between the two palettes, get the Nightmare on Elm Street palette. You could kind of skip out on this palette. However, if you are a horror junkie and weirdo like me, obviously get them both because look how cute that is. It's magnetic. I'm easily bought. But what I will say is I'm surprised because initially when I picked them up, I thought they both were going to be garbage. So the fact that one I really like and the other one is not that bad, it's actually kind of a win in my book. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to shut the fuck up about it. On that note, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.